Hi, I'm Diane. In the Crossroads drama, I'm Flo. We're here today to learn a little bit more about why Flo knows so much about damage to the car, and that would be because she knows so much about her own damage. Flo, myself, I was abused, abandoned, and neglected. I was sexually abused by my stepfather. I was abandoned by my natural father, and the neglect part came from my grandparents. While they showed me lots of love and attention, they neglected me in the way that meant showing me no correction, which only led me to think that I could do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. It led me to kind of run amok. And the abuse, it left physical and emotional wounds on my body. And I'm here to tell you today that Jesus is our physical healer. He can do what no man, woman, what no one else can do. He can solder those wounds and heal them with just a touch of his hand, with just the hearing of his word. That's all that you need to do that. As far as the abandonment issues, sometimes those leave gaping holes for a long time, and a person can go around wondering what it was that I did to make that person not love me. I'm here to tell you, it's not you. It is their own drama. It is their own trauma that has caused that person to not be a part of your life. It is nothing that you did. That was the hardest thing for me to learn as a person of abandonment. Several other front-end damages that have occurred in my life were the losses of my sons. The stillbirths of my sons were a traumatic loss to me. I felt like God was punishing me for something that I had done wrong. I lost two very dear friends to suicide. There again, I felt like had I been there that I could have stopped it. That's just the logical mind wanting to know what could have been, and there's nothing that can stop things like that. I just want everyone out there to know, whether you're a seeker or a believer, that things like this are not your fault. I know that you look for someone to blame, whether it's God or it's the person that was with someone, or whether you want to blame the person that died themselves. No one is to blame. It's just, unfortunately, something that happens. And the one other thing that I must say is how I got healed. And that was, as I alluded to in my last blog, my trip to heaven. I had what spiritual believers would call an unlikely altar call. The second time I died, I actually was able to bow my knee before Christ. And when I did, that the magnitude of that is almost too hard to put into words. The love that is felt when you're in the presence of Jesus is more, it is greater than any love you will ever feel here on earth. It is so gratifying and gracious that I just wish, it is my solemn wish, for everyone to know the love of Jesus, for even just a second, to be in that presence and to know the love that I felt. Because for me to try and explain it, to tell you how grand it was, I could stand here for hours and never explain to you how wonderful that was. To be held by the Father and told that you're loved, especially for people, whether you're a non-believer or a believer. But when you're held by the Father and told, sit in my lap, my daughter, I love you, that is something that is very hard for a lot of people to accept. And had it not been Christ himself saying it to me, I probably would have pushed the person away saying it, because I am just that kind of a person. But with it being Christ, you can't push it away. So I ask you today, will you accept that love just as I did? What will you do?